Good day and thank you for choosing Bytown to acquire your express garden shed built by Lumbec. The steps to obtain a quality shed's never been easier. You go in the store, you choose your siding options, we deliver during the week, you begin Saturday, and by Sunday, you're done. It's a simple project that can be completed in a weekend. Your shed will be delivered in your driveway. Please note that your driveway must be cleared of cars or other obstacles. Before you start the installation, you'll need a few tools. This is a list of simple tools that are available at all Bytown stores. You'll need a 4 feet level, a hammer, a small crowbar, a chalk line, a tape measurement, a drill with a Robertson tip, metal scissors, a small square, ladders and step ladders, and a caulking gun. A shingle knife, a pencil. Start the installation by decorating your box. To do this, you start by removing the pieces of wood used to hold the Tyvek. Then you remove the corner. Each screw that holds the corner is marked with paint. You can keep these screws for assembling your walls. Now that the protective Tyvek is removed, you must carry all your items in your backyard. Work as a team. A minimum of 2 people is required to carry the wall and roof. Now that you have moved all the walls and roof components to your backyard, it's time to move the floor. We strongly recommend 4 people to move the floor. We've assembled the floor to allow you to remove the plywood sheets at the end to lighten the load. Before you drop your floor in place, it is important to place patio stones at the right location. Refer to the basic worksheet that is in your manual and the Bytown website. When you carry the floor, it is important to work together. Make sure you use your legs and not your back to lift the floor. When you lay your floor, you must ensure it is level. This is an important step, ensuring a trouble-free installation. Make sure that the openings for transport are facing the back of the shed. If the area you're installing your shed is flat, you'll need a little adjustment. It is possible to use different pieces of wood to level it. You can retrieve the pieces of wood that were used to create the kit, or you can also use cedar shingle as an option. Once the floor is level, check the square. To do so, you use your tape and you check your diagonals. When the 2 measures are identical, your floor is square. Before you install the walls, you must fasten the plywood to the wood joist. To do so, mark the floor at every 16 inches with a chalk line and use that as a guide. Fasten it with 2.5 screws or nail. Once the floor is screwed, it's time to mark the wall alignment. Mark the floor at 2.5 inches in each direction. Use your chalk line as a guide. You can now start putting your walls up. Start by carrying the back wall and drop it on the floor. The bottom part of the wall has a 1-inch lip. Screw the wall to the floor with a 3.5 nailer screw and make sure you hit at least 5 joists. Take the right wall and slide it against the back wall. Push at the bottom of the wall and follow your alignment lines. Do the same for the left wall. Starting from the bottom, screw the 2 walls together. Ensure that the second person pushes on the outside to get a tight and fit assembly. Repeat the same procedure for the left wall. Then take the front wall and slide it into place. With screws or nail, screw the wall to the floor and adjacent walls. The next step is the roof. We optimize the installation kit to make it easier to assemble. If you follow these steps, no cutting is required. The roof consists of gable and roof trusses. The gables are covered with OSB. Each truss and gable is marked for easy installation. These marks are used as a guide for installation. You start by installing the gables. Install them flush with the outside of the wall. From the inside, screw the gables from underneath to the wall while putting pressure on the gable to ensure a tight fit. When the gables are installed, you switch to the trusses. You will notice that the top of the walls are marked. Follow these guides for installation. Start by screwing the back wall and finish by the front. By doing so, you'll have a square and level shed. The next step is to install the sheeting on the roof. Again, nothing to cut. Simply follow the instructions. We start from the largest piece to the smallest. Each roof panel is composed of 4 pieces. Another tip for easy installation, the aspenite has a smooth side and a rough side. It is important to place the rough side on top. Start with the 4x8 sheet. You must ensure that the upper corner of the sheet is flush with the roof truss. Use your small square to verify. On the left side, the sheet must be aligned with the aspenite on the gable. At 96 inches, the sheet will overlap a roof truss in the middle. Make sure that the sheet is aligned with the gable all along. Complete the installation by nailing or screwing the sheet by fastening it to the roof truss. The next step is to install the second sheet. Proceed in the same manner as the first sheet. Continue the installation by placing the 11 by 96 inches sheet and finish with the remaining piece. Repeat on the other side of the roof. Now it's time to install the wood fascia. Take the plywood strips and place them flush with the underside of the roof trusses. You can either screw them or nail them. It's now time to install the shingles. Be careful, remember that you're working at height, and be aware of your surroundings. Mark the roof at 12.5 inches on the bottom and on the sides. Using your chalk line, draw the alignment lines. Place a few packages of shingle on the roof. You can open up the packages to lighten the load. You start by installing your first row by placing the shingle tap at the top. Continue by nailing at the bottom left and continue the installation in rows and then going up. For more explanation on installing the shingles, you can look at the back of the packages, which has detailed instruction. When you reach the end of the row, cut your shingle using the start sheet as a guide. Repeat on the other side of the roof. It's now time to install the vinyl siding. Start by cutting your outside corners. The corners must be cut at 86.25 inches. Install the corners by keeping them flush with the bottom of the aspenite sheets of the wall. Screw or nail the corners to the walls. Next, install the starter strip by lining the bottom of the molding with the walls. Once the corner and starting molding are installed, we install the J-trim. Start by installing the J-trim above the corners. Then install the J-trim on the gables. Repeat on the other side. To complete the J-trim, you must install the door and window. In both cases, you will install the 2 items flush with the aspenite of the walls. You're now ready to install your vinyl sheets. Start with the back wall. You'll be able to use your remaining pieces for the rest of the installation. Measure the distance between the inside of both corners and subtract 3.25 inches. Fasten your sheet with 1.25 inch shingle nails. Go up and stop at the top of the walls. Repeat for the left and right walls. Make sure to measure twice and cut once, as these walls require more cuts and measurements. The front wall is the one with the most cutting and adjustment. Take your time to ensure a quality installation. Use a caulking gun to seal around your door and window. We're almost done. Only the soffit and fascia is left to do. Measure the distance between the gables and cut your J-trim accordingly. Take the soffit that was part of your kit and start the installation from the left. Slide it in the J-trim and screw it on the wooden fascia. At the end of the row, measure and cut your last piece. Take the aluminum fascia and slide it under the starting shingle. Lift up the finishing shingle and nail the fascia to the roof. This completes our instruction video. We are confident that you will be able to complete the installation in a weekend. If you have any further questions, feel free to visit one of our stores and come take advantage of our qualified staff for more advice.